Thank you for tuning in to the CAOT TV Show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Lynn Pender, and today I have none other than Pastor Kevin Wayne Johnson.
That makes me the other host. Glad to be here today. Good to see you smile.
Good to see you as well. And wow, we were just talking about how you're retired, but not really retired.
Yeah, we were. Because I had to go back to the dictionary this week, and I made sure it was the Webster's dictionary, because that's the one that has the most clout. And I could not find the word B-U-S-Y anywhere in that definition. So what's going on, right?
Wow. Well, you have a lot going on, and you've been traveling. Do you want to share with our viewing audience just a little bit about?
Well, mostly what's been occupying my time, quite frankly, is what I love to do.
Okay.
So I'm really not surprised, right? And I'm really just kind of joking. But the mid-level and the senior level leaders in the workforce, the current and next generation of leaders need mentors and coaches in their lives.
Absolutely.
And to give them some tidbits on good principles and strategies to be great leaders.
Yes.
That's my pulpit.
Yes.
And not just here in the United States, but abroad. And I've just been watching God open doors, and I just continue to watch him. It's just favor, right?
Amen.
And we stay in our lane and do what we're asked to do and use the gifts that we have.
Amen.
And that's what life is all about, and I'm just having a blast. But I did look up the definition, though, one more time, and I did not see the word B-U-S-Y.
Well, we're so glad to have you as one of the co-hosts of the CAOT TV show. It's definitely an honor.
Amen.
And as you see, we have another dynamic author here
we do.
That we're going to introduce you to in a moment. But we have to do a few little housekeeping, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So first thing I want to talk a little bit about are the calendars.
Yes. Yes.
So we have the CAOT Ladies of Christian Authors on Tour photo wall calendar, and the author in the spotlight is Pamela Mintz.
Yes.
And then we have the CAOT TV show photo wall calendar. The author in the spotlight is Sharon Clarkson. And then we have the men of CAOT photo wall calendar. And I don't have one of the men calendars, but it's actually you and Leroy that are the February spotlights. And so just want to encourage you. It's the second month of the year. If you're looking for a calendar just to have in your office or your home with information about different Christian authors, feel free to visit the website www.christianauthors.ontour.com. Click on the service and products tab so that you can order your calendar. It's a great keepsake.
It is. And not only for 2019, but when 2022 comes along, you'll go back in history and you'll recognize a couple of these folks. And it might inspire you to get started on your book project.
Yes. And so we're really excited about these calendars. We've been doing these calendars now for probably since maybe 2011.
I believe so.
And it's a great way to spotlight some of the different men and women who are using writing as a tool for Christian ministry and who are part of the Christian Authors on Tour family. And it's a great way to expose you to Christian books. And that's what this TV show is all about.
It is.
It's about spotlighting different men and women who use writing as a tool for Christian ministry and to also showcase their books. You know, we're always wondering, where are the books?
Exactly.
And as Christians, you know, we're looking for material for us as adults and even for our children. And so it's awesome today that we're able to spotlight an author that has some amazing books for the little readers in your lives, right?
Yes, and there are a ton of those last time I looked. Absolutely. So on that note, may I mention the National Christian Writers Conference?
Yes.
All right. Coming up on the 16th and 17th of May, it's our first tour stop of 2019. Now, there's a lot of different events that will be embedded into it, but we want to encourage you to come out and support because it's here in the local area in Hanover, the National Christian Writers Conference. Our good friend, our mutual brother in Christ, Antonio Crawford, all the way from San Diego, California. We have wonderful speakers that are lined up. Great opportunities to learn, gain some knowledge, improve your craft. Come on out and support. Look for Facebook look for emails
Yep.
in terms of inviting you. We have people that have already registered.
Yes.
And we're asking more to get involved and to get
Yes.
engaged. So that's going to be the very first stop for 2019.
Yes, and that's the 2019 Seed and Good Soil Christian Authors on Tour. And that first stop, the National Christian Writers Conference, is in Hanover, Maryland.
Yes.
And that's, as you said, in May of 2019. And then we have the Harlem Book Fair in
Coming
July.
up in July.
We're making a stop at Harvest Church in St. Louis in August. September, we're going to be at the Beantown Jazz Festival in Boston. And then in December, we'll be back home in Baltimore at the Christian Writers Literary Festival. And so we have some wonderful dates and some things lined up for you. So take a look at our website, www.christianauthorsontour.com, to get more information. If you are a Christian author and you want to join our Christian Authors on Tour family and use this as an opportunity to promote you and your books, you're welcome to do that. If you are a business or an entrepreneur and you're looking for an opportunity to promote your service or your product, consider becoming a corporate sponsor of either the CAOT TV show or the 2019 tour. And for more information about corporate sponsorship, you can call 800-929-1418.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
So we have a wonderful guest with us today.
Yes.
Right? I'm meeting him for the very first time, but we already feel like we're connected. In part because we are fellow authors.
Absolutely.
But I would like to introduce to you all, we have Fred Lee Brandon III.
Legacy.
And there's some tradition there. And perhaps he'll talk about granddad and his dad. But I wanted to introduce you to let you know that he is an entrepreneur. He is an information technology guru.
Yes, he is.
He's an international speaker, a TV and radio producer, has traveled the world, and is an avid book chain enthusiast. He'll explain what all that means. From Cleveland, Ohio originally, but he's been here in the DMV area for quite a number of years now, for 2 decades, really, really enjoying himself. We can't wait to hear from him in terms of what his journey is. His book is entitled Misha's First Day at School. So I would like to introduce to you all Fred Brandon III. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. You hear everybody? You hear the big applause out there?
Yeah, I hear it.
So tell us the story of Mr. Fred.
Okay, so a little bit about me. As I said, I've been in the DMV area for roughly 20 years already. It was I needed a break. Born and raised in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I just needed to expand, and because of how things are, and it's a little slower in the Midwest, and just needed to I needed to expand my horizons a little bit. So I decided on the DC area. I had come here many times as a child. My uncle was a English professor at Howard and Georgetown.
Right.
So, pretty much writing and all of that is in my blood right now. So I definitely came and kind of followed in his footsteps a little bit.
Good. Excellent.
And so tell us a little bit about this book, Misha's First Day at School.
Okay, so a little bit of background story of why I wrote the book. I wrote it for a friend of mine. Because she actually went through a miscarriage at the time. And this is when I actually wrote this book. It's roughly 11 years ago now. And when it happened, I wrote it. I wanted to make sure that her daughter would be immortalized on the pages of a book, for all time. So it was more of something that I just wanted to do for her. And so it sat on my bookshelf for about 10 years before I even decided to try to get it published.
Wow.
So I really wanted to get it out there so that she would have something that she could always see. I also wanted, as you can see, there is a little brown girl on the front of it. I really wanted to start putting more books out there because representation matters. So we definitely need to see ourselves in books. And on media and different avenues.
There's some little brown boys in there too.
Definitely some brown boys in there as well.
Absolutely.
So that's and part of the book, it goes into, her first day at school and just, the anxiety of going to school, not really knowing what to expect.
Yes.
And so it kind of helps children with their anxiety of, really not knowing how to cope. And this is just the first in the series.
Good, good. So do you envision 2 more books?
At least
5 more books? 10 more books?
He said at least.
At least.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, where's the setting? Is the school in a particular geographical location or just in general?
It's just in general.
In general?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just in general.
And is it kindergarten, first grade?
Yeah, it's roughly kindergarten, first grade. So probably the age group would probably go from 4 to 7.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is this is your intention and your goal to help the children to relieve some of their anxiety with what's coming with this first day of school?
Definitely.
Yeah. So whether they're returning to their normal school or whether it's a brand new school, new teacher, new fellow students.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. It's all in the book as well.
Right.
She just didn't know exactly what to expect.
Yeah.
Sometimes as individuals, we take other people's word for it, and it throws us all off.
Yeah.
So this is probably the worst idea. I'm like, and then everything changes.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things that you can expect when you read this book.
Good.
Absolutely. And it's so important that you're, we know as an adult that's true, but it's so important that you're helping the little ones understand that at such an early age, to really prepare them. Can you talk a little bit about the reaction that you've received maybe from some of your little readers or some of the parents?
Yeah, so it's when I wrote this, I was not expecting the turnout, honestly, and it was sometimes. One of the reasons, obviously, you see my Fred Lee Brandon III, you definitely want to start thinking about legacy and generational wealth and things of those things. I talk about business on a different avenue in my life as well. So I definitely wanted to, show respect and show homage to, the ones that came before me.
Absolutely.
So, that is one of the reasons, that it's there. And just...
Good. So talk to us. What are the parents saying? Because obviously they read the book with their children, or they read the book to make sure it's okay to give to their children, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of really good reviews on Amazon, also on Facebook.
Good.
So you can go and check those out there as well. I've been received at... I did a book signing in New Jersey back in November. I have one coming up in Detroit next weekend.
All right.
And I have one coming up in March at the Hilton Alexandria at the Mark Center.
And that's Alexandria, Virginia.
Yes.
Okay, so our viewers, those of you who are in Detroit, Michigan, if you're in the DMV area, you have 2 opportunities to come check out this brother. Right?
Yep, absolutely. And you mentioned your wonderful reviews, but where do we go to find and read those reviews?
Amazon. You can go to Amazon. You can also go to, there's on Facebook, I have a page, The Adventures of Misha. Is also on, actually on all social media. So we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram and Facebook.
And that's MEESHA.
Yes.
The Adventures of Misha. All right.
And it's also on the website as well. So theadventuresofmisha.com. You can go and check that out as well.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your publishing process. That's different for each author that we have the opportunity to meet. So for our viewing audience, just kind of share what that was like for you.
That was interesting. Only because I didn't know exactly what I was getting into when I started this process. And what I thought, I'll just put it out. I'll get an illustrator, I'll put it out. And that will be it. Well, that's not exactly how it works. So you really have to, do your homework, understand everything that entails. Having, publishing, making sure you have the marketing that goes with it. If you're going to have an ebook or audio book, think about that. Also, if you want to think about having it translated in another language, there's a lot of things that you have to, that it encompasses with publishing. So it's not just stick it on some pages and put it in.
Exactly.
And get an ISBN, right?
Right.
Yeah, a little bit more complicated.
Absolutely, but your illustrations are beautiful.
They are.
Yes.
I noticed.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Bow Publishing for that as well.
Wow.
Help us to understand, how did you go about selecting your illustrator, and how did you communicate the vision so that they can make it come to pass?
Okay, so I am a very big advocate of keeping the money within our community.
Yes.
So I wanted to reach out to a Black-owned publishing company. So that was one of the first things I sought out. And once I sought that out, then I started making my deductions of saying, okay, what exactly what can you offer? Do you have a really good illustrator that I can talk to, and that maybe we can go back and forth to say exactly this is what I want the pictures to portray in each instance. So it was as long as we had that that conversation and be able to talk to them to say, okay, no, this needs to change. Make sure that maybe they're looking this way, or if there's any particular facial expression, we definitely want to that is not described in my writing. Then,
Absolutely.
Because sometimes I describe it in my writing, so it makes it because even as you're reading this to children, they have to be able to visualize it, right?
Yeah.
So you definitely want to be very descriptive.
Exactly.
In your writing.
Yes. So I on Facebook this morning I posted, we're making our own Black history. I knew I was right. I knew I was right. But that's so important, because it goes back to that representation you talked about. That for many of our little ones. I think now we're in an age where we're seeing more books that show young people of color, but for so long, I know when we were growing up, they were rare, and so even now it's still a big deal to be able to find books that show positive images, that don't stereotype our young people into thinking that they have to be this way. And so, I really take my hat off to you again for your book, and again for touching on those issues like anxiety and things that we deal with as adults, but our young people deal with those issues too
as well.
Absolutely. So Fred, help our audience, because we have a number of people, we have a diverse audience, and a number of them are really interested in getting off of the couch and starting to write. But there's a lot of different reasons why they don't. Help us to understand, what was your motivation to get started? And then even once you've gotten started and you got published, what keeps you going?
All right, so I think because of a lot of the things that we deal with on a day-to-day, we don't understand how to release. And being able to write is definitely a release, whether it is I started writing poetry, many years ago, and it was always a way I could release. Some days we don't, we don't have the people that or the resources to talk to, to say, okay, this is how I'm feeling at this time. I don't have, we may not have those mental health, providers that we can talk to. Any of those things. So sometimes instead of keeping all of that bottled up, writing is definitely a way to find that escape. It's
therapeutic. Right?
Definitely. I mean, because we keep it in, we keep it bottled up, and pressure bursts pipes, right? So you definitely want to at least at least put it on paper, and you just never know. I mean, it could be something that you are really dealing with in real life, but you can change it and make it into fiction and whatever, and put your own little spin on it, and so there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. So
and again, I love that the focus is on the little ones, because even now you're hearing in the news a 10-year-old boy just committed suicide because of the bullying, and there not too long ago there was I believe it was a 9-year-old girl that committed suicide because of the bullying as well. And part of that experience of dealing with bullying is the anxiety, and so for you to have a book that, even though you're not necessarily talking about bullying, you're still talking about some of the feelings anxiety that might come from any type of experience, I think that's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. It's so important that we have books like this that we can share with our young people. And as we're, providing entertainment to them, we're also educating them and exposing them to a more positive way of dealing with their feelings. And so that's so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So Fred, so you gave us a little tidbit on getting started. So what sustains you now? What keeps you going forward?
Request. Honestly, there's
it's the demand.
It's definitely a demand. Because first off, like I said, I wrote it 10 years ago, and it just sat there, and so it's been on my mind. I already have the premise for the second book and third book already, so it's just there. It's just sometimes it's time, just having to put it on there. But it's definitely a necessity and a requirement to get those get your feelings out on paper. Because sometimes you just never know what's helping someone. It might be your child, it might be your niece or nephew or whomever,
grandchild
or grandchild.
That's right.
Someone may be going through the exact same thing. So that is definitely something you want to be able to reach and touch those people, with the words that you put on paper.
Yes.
Great.
Have you considered contacting some of the school districts to see if they might perhaps pick it up?
I'm gonna definitely try that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and the libraries as well.
Oh yeah.
I can see this as a library book.
Absolutely.
I could see this as a book in a classroom.
There's
for reading
kind
time.
Of potentials.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. So Fred, talk to us. Share with our audience how we can get in touch with you. All of your websites. Say it again because people need to hear it probably 2 or 3 times.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So this is going to be a long list. So adventuresofmisha.com is where you can get the book. I autograph them and send them out. It's also available on Amazon.com for purchase. We are available on all social media.
Yes.
So Adventures of Misha has her own accounts everywhere. That is Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I could also be reached at IMF Brandon on all social media as well.
Yes.
So you can find me at IMF Brandon on Twitter, Instagram, anything but Facebook. I'm not on there, but I'm everywhere.
That's all right. We're promoting you on Facebook. Don't worry.
We got you covered.
We got you covered on Facebook. So this is amazing, and you already mentioned that you have your premise for the second and the third books. Just give us a little taste. Do you see her remaining in the first grade, or do you see each book dealing with a different grade, or how do you see her progress moving forward in the storyline?
Yeah, it's not always going to be the same grade.
Okay.
But there's going to be a lot of different ups and downs that she's going to have to go with. And just deal with, and it's more of going through the mind of a child, and just understanding how they see things, or how try to figure out how we can get them through certain ordeals that they may be going through. That
absolutely
us as adults, we probably think, oh, that's nothing,
right.
And we just kind of shrug it off. Like,
absolutely.
And they're
or get over it,
exactly.
And they're losing their mind about
it.
So definitely things that you want to touch on. So.
Yes.
Do you foresee perhaps a little boy being the main character in a future book, or will it always be focused on Misha?
It will. Well, as of right now, so there is another. There's a little boy in there as well, because at the same time you have to think logically, to just say this is not
him,
all.
Right?
That's,
so let me show it.
There he is.
Little handsome guy right there.
Yeah, so you definitely want to appeal to both crowds. I understand that.
Right.
But she's going to be very. It's very going to be centric around the little girl, but at the same time, there will be a lot of great co-guests in the book.
Good. Excellent.
Absolutely. And so you have another life in the tech industry.
Right.
You do a lot of speaking and writing around that. Can you talk a little bit about the difference of, writing a children's book and writing something so technical,
right and left brain, I guess. Right? It's
good answer.
You definitely have to change gears on all times to try to say, okay, this is the crowd. Well, you know what? It's just like anything in business, right?
Yeah.
You have to know your target market, know your target audience, and if I need jargon for my tech, theses. That's what I have over here. Yes. Well, that's not going to work in, writing a kid's book. Yes. So you definitely have to be able to switch gears at any given time and say, okay, look, I can write tech, documents, and at the same time I can talk about playing in the street or something.
Yeah. They call that multitasking. Yeah. And talk to us also. When we introduced you to our audience, we talked a little bit about you being a world traveler. Yes. Share with us some of your travels around the world.
Okay, so this year I've been. It's only February, right? So I've been to Cozumel. I did a cruise. Last year I was in Egypt. Next month I have a speaking engagement in Amsterdam.
All right.
I've been to Dubai. I've been to a lot of places in the islands.
Yes.
I've been to the Philippines. I've been to Tokyo. So I've been, like I said, as of right now, I am up to 4 continents. So I've been to Paris as well. So right now, I only have South America left, Australia, and Antarctica. So they're on the way.
Yeah.
Good.
But you know what? I hope you find a way to infuse that into your children's books.
Absolutely.
Because our young people need to know that the world is bigger than their neighborhood.
Right.
And so it's so important that they learn about traveling at an early age.
Yeah.
So
I'll echo that because
it's in there.
All right.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yes.
When I was teaching yesterday, I was emphasizing, part of what we can do early to train our children to become great leaders is get them a passport before they get their driver's license.
Right.
Yes.
Right? And have them to understand the richness of all the different cultures.
Yes.
It just makes us better people and more well-rounded people.
Yes,
understood.
I am jealous, though, that you've been to Dubai. I haven't been there yet.
So don't be jealous.
I know.
Just talk to him.
Just go.
Network. He can make it happen for you.
There you go.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure. I told you the time was going to go by quickly, right?
Very fast.
But it's been really great to have you on board, to hear your background, to tell us a little bit about the story. Share your website information one more time if folks want to purchase the book.
Okay, so you can purchase the book at adventuresofmisha.com. It's also available on Amazon.com as well. You can also find more information about me at fredbrandon.info.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. So good to meet you. Glad you were able to come in.
Thank you.
Yes. And Pastor Kevin, it's always a pleasure.
Always. I really, really wish I was here more frequently. But, when I am here, I have a blast.
Absolutely.
Right? It's always good being in your presence. And I'm just so proud of where CAOT has come.
Amen.
And where it's going.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
1 decade taken care of,
yes.
Beginning, moving forward with the next decade. Just continue to enjoy God's favor.
Absolutely.
And His success.
Absolutely.
And His mercy and grace. And just keep walking.
And
guess what? You see how people will come alongside you?
Yes,
and help
sir.
the vision come to pass?
Yes, sir.
Just keep doing great work.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So somebody listening needed to hear that. Yes. It looks easy, but there's a lot of hard work and God's favor that's in every piece of it.
Yep.
And we're so thankful. We're so blessed.
Yep.
We're thankful for you for tuning in to the CAOT TV Show on the WBGR Gospel Network. And we're extremely thankful for Lionel Green, Tim Day, and the whole crew of the WBGR Gospel Network, and want to encourage you to tune in again next Friday. We're live every Friday from 9:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Don't forget to contact the WBGR Gospel Network about getting your own TV show or even doing your audiobook, okay?
Yes.
And don't forget to check out Christian Authors on Tour at www.christianauthorsontour.com. Until next time, God bless.
Bless.